Welcome back and thank you for joining us. We're still on the Polity, reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja, and I am still Mercy Babajide. And of course, you know the 2023 Kogi State gubernatorial elections will take place next month. That's November 11th, 2023. And of course, they are to elect a new governor. But today we'll be analyzing the precedents of the before the election, of course. And today with me is Dr. Sulaiman, of course, in the studio. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Fine.
Hope the weather is not.
No, very interesting. Very okay.
Okay, right now, a backstory before we get into the Kogi politics. Is it true that Kogi State salary, if workers have not been paid their salaries?
You are asking direct question that has to do with the much populace of the state.
Okay.
And if I am to answer this question, we'll first look at the history of the Kogi civil service since the creation of the state of Kogi State. But since you have asked a direct question, let me tell you, you said the precedent to the issue of salary in Kogi State have been a problem since the beginning of the state. Since the creation of the state.
Okay, so that's going to be the excuse you're going to give that's why salary has not been paid.
The salary has been paid, but you said that, look, what I understand about the issue of salary is Kogi State, that they have a tradition, whereby that since the creation of the state, salary has not been paid 100% to workers. Okay.
Are we going to settle for being mediocres? Because if you ask me, if someone has not done something good, your duty is to come on board. And let's take Plateau State, for example. Governor Caleb Muftan came on board and then he cleared all the backlogs of salaries that had been owed, irrespective of what is going on in the state. I mean, we know that we have recent killings in Plateau State, and they are actually on top of, when you talk about killings in Nigeria, Plateau should be top 3 if I'm correct. But then irrespective of that,
to the best of my knowledge, when the government of His Excellency Abdullahi Bello came on board, there are some backlogs of salary that have not been paid. To the best of my knowledge, he paid 4-month arrears that they are owing the staffs. He paid them 4 months. So these 4 months were a kind of a real relief to all the civil servants in Kogi State. So, being an agrarian state for now, and if not with the effort of the government, that the state have been shifted to one of the oil producing state, not more than 3 or 4 months now, all they depend on is that monthly subvention from the federal government with what they gain, with what they collect within the state as internal generated revenue. If you look at it, and the chunks of this money goes to where paying of salary within the state and the local government level, down to the council. So now in this aspect, if really that, look, you have to prove a point that, look, we have some infrastructural deficit that need to be covered, at least, if not 70%, so let's work averagely, we should have some infrastructure development within the state that will show that, look, this government is responsible enough to put some structures on ground. So now, somebody have to pay for the price. And this is a state for all, the citizens. So now what are we saying? If you have to pay 100% salary, then the state will not have any infrastructural development. And we are talking of what? We need to move the state from this level to the next level. What we are saying, a sacrifice has to be made. And if the civil servants they have to make the sacrifice, so be it, they have to pay for the price. Because if you're talking about any revolution, in any reform, somebody must surely pay for the price.
But why is it always the civil servant or the layman that gets to be on the war front or gets more of the brunt of whatever is going on? I mean, President Tinubu came on board and he said, "Oh, I want you, my citizens, to endure." What happened to the politicians themselves? What exactly is their share in all of this going on. And that brings me to my next question, the level of insecurity in the country, especially Kogi State, given the election that is upcoming now. We've seen where there's lots of back and forth between political parties and lots of killings, and there was rumor as of last week that a certain man was shot at, and I'd like us to actually clarify on that, since we want to talk about Kogi State elections today.
If you compare Kogi State with some other states in terms of salary, you will measure up and understand that, look, Kogi State is doing far, far better than most states in this country.
But shouldn't you aspire to be better, not comparing yourself with others? Yeah.
That is why I'm telling you, look, if we said today that, look, we are seeing some kind of improvement in the state, if I will make, you take an assessment on your own as a journalist, go through the state, I will tell you the infrastructural development we have today in even the capital, not to talk of the eastern part of it, that the people are today embracing democracy and are celebrating democracy, in particularly in this dispensation under His Excellency Ibrahim Abdullahi Bello. That, let me tell you, some of these local government have never experienced electricity since Kogi State was created in 1991. This is their first time. You see them celebrating, and they came out to say it openly. It's part of what we are saying. Is it not supposed to be the dividend of the democracy since the state was created in 1991? It is now in the 21st century, living in the 18th century, 19th century. Now we are celebrating electricity. You look at how backward the state is. So what we are saying now is that, look, we are seeing some impact of the real impact of what of democracy in Kogi State with the coming of Abdullahi Bello as a governor, His Excellency. So if you look at your question, go to your question, you asked about insecurity. Let me tell you, to the best of my understanding in that state has been a very volatile state when it comes to issue of security. But ask any governor within the rank of the governor in this country, they will tell you one of the achievements of His Excellency Abdullahi Bello is the issue of security. Because from Lokoja to, let me say, Auchi is a death trap for hoodlums, for kidnappers, armed robbers, and it has been a normal routine practice for them.
I'm talking about insecurities when now the election proceedings have of course started. We've seen where they've attacked each other.
Yes,
political parties outrightly attack each other at their campaign grounds and all of that. And I mean, let's take Natasha Koti for example, even though she just won tribunal. Let's take what happened during the February election, March elections, for example. That's like a typical thing. And now that the governorship election is happening next month, it looks like insecurity is on the rise. And I mean, when I mean insecurity, I'm not just talking about the layman, I'm talking about even politicians attacking themselves.
You see, I would like to look at every aspect of this discussion from the positive aspect of it. The progress we are making as a state. And as a people, the three territorial districts that form the state. What development, what progress are we making in terms of human development politically, security, and infrastructural development? If you look at it, like you make a case study of Natasha Apoti. Natasha Apoti has been contesting from one party to the other, looking for a senatorial seat of the senator seat from the Kogi Central. If you look at it, the last election was a historic one in the Kogi Central. People turned out from both sides. She was formerly an APC member. She moved to PDP because she thought she understand. Look, she have what it takes for her to win. But looking at the scenario in Kogi Central, still yet the election came and gone, but there was no any issue of killing or destruction of property. And Abubakar was the clear winner of the election. But in the tribunal, after all evidences were proved beyond reasonable doubt, the tribunal said, look, this election was won by Natasha Apoti. And Abubakar, as a law-abiding citizen, went for appeal. So the case now is before appeal, and there was no any issue of confrontation, destruction of life and property on this matter. And let me tell you, the progress they have made, that look, I have even understand to some extent that it is an in-house arrangement because it is within one senatorial district. They are trying to resolve it before the governorship election because they knew what is at stake, that they knew they need the governorship seat that is more interesting and is more relevant to the central than the senatorial aspect seats. So now What I'm telling you, look, the latest development, look, all these crises have been resolved internally, and they are working perfectly, and they are working smoothly for the incoming governor election.
Who do you think is going to be the incoming governor of Kogi State?
Let me take you back to history.
Okay.
Quite interesting equation. I don't want to just start putting action on places. This will win, this will not win.
Okay.
It is a game of number, game of what? Of people and interest. There are interest and counter interest, but you have to look at it with open mind, without being biased. This state was created in 1991.
Okay, that's correct.
We have two states that come together. This is the truth about it. Two states, Benue State and Kwara State, form Kogi State. We have the Kogi East from Benue State, and that is the Igadas, and we have from Kwara, which is the Kogi Central and Kogi West, the Ibiras and the Okus. Now, what we have to understand is that those that are come from Benue State are 9 local government was created from Benue State. 11 local government from where? From Kwara State. Now, if they are to vote on this line, Kwara and Benue, surely Kwara will have the lead because there are 11. We have 11 local government here. We have 9 over there. But with the principle of even we are talking of majority among this senatorial district, yes, if the East said, look, we have more local government, but they have to understand one thing, that this is issue of party, because the instrument of governance have to be recognized here.
Okay. Okay, I like the angle you brought it from, because I was going to ask if it was right for Governor Yahaya Bello to actually nominate another Ibira person, since we're talking about zones in Kogi State.
Looking at the antecedent of the state,
okay,
history have been made before. It's history repeating itself. So
so all the zones can just
we are coming. We are
push them aside.
We are coming to it. Okay. If you look at it, for example, the East, Kogi East, they have tested power for good 19 years.
19 years, okay.
Now it's fall to the part of what the Central have just done 8 years. What they are saying is, look, we are going to do another 8 years, making 16 years, then we now hand over to the Okus and let them also do. But if they are being generous, I know that, look, we are okay with 8 years, 2 times 8 years, when it comes to their turn of 4 years, and look, they are Democrat enough, then good and fine. But what we are saying that, look, it will come to a time whereby after the next 8 years, if by eventually the candidate of APC won this election, then that shows the next 8 years will be within the Kogi Central. Because you know it is a routine system in Nigeria, it is very difficult for you to lose after winning the first election. 2 terms is guaranteed for you as a state governor. In most cases, in most scenarios in Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's the pattern we have about politics in Nigeria today. So no one will like to be on the seat and lost it. No. But after 8 years, I'm assuring you, then the cabas will now say, look, Emilokon, it is now our turn. So
you're trying to say that now, after he has spent 8 years, now another man can spend another 8 years. And
that's what from the cabas, no, from the same door, for the Kogi West now. Okay. Kogi Central will end up saying, let's say, if eventually APC candidate won, that is Usman Ahmed Dodo, if he won the election, he cannot stay in the office more than 8 years. Okay. After 8 years, then the cabas open have every right also, look, democratically and by every sense of reasoning, understand now, it is our turn.
I like that you mentioned that, because now there's been issues about pre-election matters, about even before the primaries. There's been rumors that the primaries for APC never even happened.
Everybody has his own take and understanding, and the way he will read the scenario from one state to the other. Okay. They have gone to the tribunal. They took an appeal. From appeal, they went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court uphold the primary election of the APC. So what we are looking at now is that, look, we have a crisis in Kotunkafi last week. I understand a lady was being shot and killed by the other party SDP candidate, but they came out to refute. They came out to refute that story. That look, it is not their member that killed that lady, but somebody has been killed. Do we need to kill ourselves? Do we need to take life because of election? No, it is a game of number. Look, respect every electionary process. Campaign peacefully. You have what we call manifestos. Come out and tell the people. Convince them what we intend to do for you. Our plan, our political plan, our government, this is what we are trying to, we will furnish you with what details of what we want to do in the next 4 years. So you try to buy in the mind, the heart of the people. Let them key with you and understand where you are coming from, where you are going. So the issue of violence, if you are talking of, let me tell you, historically, the Igalas and the Ibiras, they are from the same descendant, from the Jukuns, from Kwarafas, all to down to Ida before they came back, they came down to what they call Ibra Opete. Then if you look at historically, the Okus and Ibiras, they have this political history from Kwara State, from Kaba province to Kwara State, now Unibet to Kwara State, they are together. So we are all one. This state is intact. They have a network of cultural and traditional values that they share together. Okay. They see themselves as one entity. So I will understand and believe that, look, every political actor should be mindful of what? Of our historical heritage, cultural tradition, and what? And our religious value. What brought us together should be seen more important than the political differences. Because after election, we will see ourselves together. Let me tell you what happened during within the last 7 years. His Excellency Abdullahi Bello went around all the 3 senatorial districts in that state to refurbish, even rebuild all the traditional palaces. All the first class chiefs, their palaces were being turned around to a modern looking beautiful palaces. Then please, this is to tell you our cultural understanding, our cultural values and laws for one another.
Now what about the people?
If you look at it, the people, our tradition tells you that, look, the people are together with the cultural and traditional rulers. This is why whatever you are doing, I said it, and look, the moment you get to power, the first thing that, look, you have to link or hook up with what the traditional rulers, because they understand the taste of the citizen at the grassroots. Because they did direct with the people. They know their problem, they know what they want. So this is why I am telling you, the moment His Excellency Habelo goes to any of these senatorial districts, he's just like he's at home. And let me tell you, there's something he did on electricity on Kogi East that I was privileged to came across in one of the news items. He changed one of the cable that took electricity from Kogi direct to the eastern part of the state. He changed it from 150 mm to 300 mm. You see, these people came out in numbers to appreciate and celebrate not even the governor, but democracy. I told them this is all about the democracy. And if you look at what Yabelo have done, building of hospitals and construction of road in most of this in most of this part of the state, you look at it and look. Let me tell you, history will live to testify against or for those that have really touched life in that state as governor. Okay. Before and after Yaya Doda Bello. Let me tell you, the issue is that from my own assessment, what I understand in the state, since that great state has been created, what Yaya Bello has done to the people of East in terms of infrastructure, all together in 19 years, they have spent, their own sons and daughters have spent in power, they have not done it.
Okay, now I was talking about his, let's take it to the West. Do you think the West candidates as...
Very good. If you look at the West candidates, you have Leke, who is ADC, yeah. And you have Dino Malaye from PDP. Good and fine. You see, let me tell you, the two of them, you have only 7 local government within this senatorial district, and you have 2 candidates emerging from 2 different parties. If you look at East, we have Mutala Ajaka. If you look at Central, you have Usman Ododo. Then now, it is that place, to them they have divided the vote. Okay. They have an in-house crisis for you to have 2 candidates there. And if you look at these 2 candidates, Dino Malaya took a woman, a lady from the East, and it is within that cycle that this lady will she be able to stand within the political terrain of the state that is so rugged and rough to deliver east for you? Question number one. Kogi election is not just an ordinary election.
Okay.
It's just like a national election. Kogi State is another micro system of Nigeria as a whole, because in that state you have up to 9 languages, nations altogether. So here you have 2 parties together. So now you have 7 local government. Are they going to share 3-3? And let me tell you,
if the whole of this Kogi West candidates, if they come together, do you think they can fight what people would term their common enemy, which is the other party?
Let me tell you, to use even that language, common enemy, I've said it before, we are all one and the same, the state.
Okay.
You see, if you are talking of political calculation, I will advise the West. You understand now? Let me take a branch from the political history of Bola Aswaji Tinubu, the president today. He has been within the corridor of power and within the corridor of the ruling party since 1991. Tinubu, yes, 1991 if I'm not mistaken. Tinubu has played his role even when we are in military dictatorship. He associated himself with the big wigs in politics in this country, and he played his card up to the moment he knew that, look, it is my time. He said, look, and Emilio, you know what it takes him to use AD and negotiate with CPC to form APC. And that was what brought Buhari into power. And now it is his turn and he's there. So I will advise the West, the power in it to be now, that is APC. Let them align and have a solid and concrete agreement. Look, who will support you within the next 8 years? Who will be patient enough and Democrat enough? After 8 years, it is now our turn. Because let me tell you, one of my mentors said, the instrument of power, the moment somebody tasted power, you find it difficult to hand it over to any other person.
Is that supposed to be so? Because you are supposedly fighting for the interest of the people, not your self-interest.
Very good. Let me tell you why I said this. That look, if you look at the instrument of governance, that is the instrument of power. This is what you use in development. This is what you use to control the people. Good. I will not say wrong. Because in every indices of human endeavor, you have to bring power. Without power, you cannot achieve anything meaningfully. Within your house, within your local government, council, state, constituency, it is when you have the instrument of power. That is governance. You can detect this project should go there, this project has been allocated here in the last 4 years, 5 years, this one should go here. So what we are saying now, look, central, this is why the eastern part of Kogi State now are crying, and they are saying, look, they want to take the power back because they know what it is to them. Then, now the central have tasted power. Now it is now that the central knew what the eastern part of the state are enjoying before. Now it is their turn. And they have made the West to understand what it means for you to hold the instrument of governance power within your cycle. That is why they have to agree and understand that, look, after these 8 years, it is now the turn of the West to know that they have to come on board and let them. And I'm assuring you, by the time the West tastes this power, they will tell you we are also going to spend our own 60 years. That is the truth about it. Yes, it is then we will have a new generation of elite from the east, from the central, that will now come together to say that, look, it should be now for 4 years, because even 8 years is too long. But we will have an understanding where the central, the east, the west will now work as a team, and we'll be able to have a take, and everybody will be a stakeholder as far as Kogi State is concerned. It is not meant for any individual. It is not meant for any group of people, but it is an issue of number and logic, whereby we put our senses to work. Look, the instrument of power or governance is not meant for only one person. If you have done, let's also rotate it. Let people have a taste of it. Let's see who is working and who is not working. It is then you'll be able to assess who should be the goalkeeper, who should be the forward, who should be the midfielder. In this aspect, we are only seeing it from one direction. But now I said one thing: you can now judge governance from 2 aspects today in Kogi State: the last 19 years and the last 8 years. If the eastern part of the country, the East Central District, now say, look, okay, we have seen what Yabelo have done with what? With governance from central. So they have to look at where the deficit they have in those days, where they have made mistake and where they have done good. And they should understand and look, the new political challenges in Kogi State and the new development we are seeing today, now look, politics is not for individual achievement. It is for the state and for the people.
But do you think we're going to even ever get to that point in Nigerian politics? Not even just Kogi State. Now, you're talking about it's not for the individual, but you know quite all right that most of those people are there for their selfish interest. Well, we can speak for those that are coming in.
No. We're already getting there.
Okay.
We're already getting there. Look at in the primary and APC, what happened? They wanted to make it make an easy way for Lawal Ahmed, the Senate President. And what happened? In the president, Tinubu came out and said, look, Emilako, it's my turn. And he knows what he's saying. And believe me, honestly, the then president Muhammadu Buhari knew quite all right what Bola Tinubu Ahmed was saying. And the traditional rulers from the east, western part of this country, they know about layer. Look, really, it is our turn. We know what we are saying. Because Jonathan Ebele is from the east. You like it or you don't like it. You can say, no, he's from the southeast. No! The eastern part of the have tasted it, southeast. Now it is them. So logically we are getting there. By the time, look at all this issue from IPOP, all this thing, it's about power. It's about power. By the time they tested governance for once, they will I'm telling you, assuring you, there will be no issue of IPOP and everything will go down. Because look, what they are fighting for is what instrument of governance. They want to test this power.
Speaking about instrument of governance, do you have any expectations from this said elections happening next month in Kogi State? I mean, the expectations are a bit high, given that, people have seen that INEC couldn't deliver most of what they promised Nigerians. And now knowing that they've clarified it in court, that INEC saying they would put the results out in real time is not a constitution, but was a promise. And now the same INEC has come out to say, we are going to transmit results in real time now in Kogi State. Are we to expect the same thing, or we should just have open minds right now?
The issue is that, look, the presidential election is a great achievement and a way forward, not for INEC alone, even for a legal practitioner, the science. Today, let me tell you, an average Nigerian knew quite all right, look, if you are to file any case politically before any tribunal, you must make your evidence clear, you must make it that, look, convincing beyond reasonable doubt. Evidences must be proof. Proof must be given evidence with every evidence from A to Z. You must be convinced that ordinary man will look at it like, yes, this guy is giving us evidence, and they are convincing, not just to the court or before the tribunal. So in this aspect, the INEC have already learned their own lesson today. Let me tell you, and as I am concerned, at the state level, the government is also marshalling out every aspect of this election, that we must make it perfect. It must be transparent. It must be clean. If we have to win, we must win convincingly. We must win convincingly. It's not issue of gun or issue of no. That is why I'm telling you today, if you look at the nature of campaign in Kogi State, it is so interesting that, look, APC have taken campaign to other states. Can you imagine Kogi State election, see people going to have hall meeting with people, Kogi citizens in Kwanu, Lagos, Plateau, and other states. Ondo State, what does that tell you? That shows they knew quite all that it's no longer a child play. It's no longer just a Kogi affair. It is now a global affair. The governor have to sit tight and call every individual that is a stakeholder in this political event, to order and let them understand that, look, they must play their role effectively and openly. Let us take a credit from it. And for the first time, and let me tell you, and in the last time of his own administration, if His Excellency Abdullahi Adora get it right, and he did it, let me tell you, he has laid a precedent that nobody will try to destroy it. Because for you to have a very transparent and peaceful election. I'm telling you, this is the first time we are having it in Kogi State. Electionary process, even this issue of killing in Kogi and Kotonkarfi, it took most people by surprise. That is why you see most of Usman Ododo was there day before yesterday to pay a condolence visit to the family and His Royal Highness, the Umidi of Kotonkarfi. And Ajaka came out to say, look, it is not my people. So everybody is trying to deny because they know it's wrong. This is what you are saying. So everybody is now conscious of not being misguided or not in the right path. So everybody is being careful. And let me tell you, if you are being conscious of the society, of the law, and what it takes, that look, this is your constituency. As far as this state is concerned, we are going to have a very interesting and smooth, free, fair election. That the result will be very difficult for anybody to challenge.
Yes. Okay, speaking about stakeholders in Kogi State, do you think there's any courage that the new government will favor them? So we don't even know who the new government is going to be, but do you think they are willing to actually push themselves out there to say, oh, let's do more, given that, of course, there's rumor about salaries and insecurity and all of that. But then do you think they will be willing to put their cards on the ground right now to say, let's push it forward?
From before coming to the studio, we have this family relationship support group from Falake and the former late governor of Kogi State, Prince Abubakar Audu, that have just merged with APC. That is Aududu Ahmed Usman. So that is to tell you that, look, some politicking is still going on. Calculation and counter-calculation is going. They are making some alignment and realignment. Because I told you, all the stakeholders today, everybody want to test power. It's just like a honey. If you test it, you find it difficult to leave the cake to distance you. You always love to be within the corridor of this power, to ask where is our share? What comes to my own constituency? Let me tell you, for example now, the minister allocated to Kogi, the minister seat allocated to Kogi State went to the east. The deputy governor from APC from the east. Definitely, as I'm talking to you, we have some ambassadorial appointment that will be coming to the state, and what? And the SSG will go to what? To the west. You look at the political calculation. So now is that, look, the eastern part of this part we have been settled with what? Ministerial appointment. You can't be minister at the same time be what? Be governor. No, then what happened to the other Central District? We have given minister. And now we are talking of governor. If you are taking minister and you are taking deputy governor, what will happen to the Kogi West? What are we giving them? We are giving the SSG. Then now they should understand that, look, after this tenure, it is the Kogi West. And now they are having alignment. What I'm telling you is, look, the state today have been divided into two.
Okay.
Yes. Benue and Kwara. We have those from Kwara have tasted power for 16 years, 19 years. Now the central is asking for another tenure. Yes. After this tenure, definitely, just like I told you, Baba said, Emilokon, then the West will not, the Oku will not, look, it is now our turn. Because democracy is about equity. Equal sharing of what? Of what? The benefit of democracy. Everybody should have a say on it. Everybody should be a stakeholder. Everybody should appreciate democracy. This is why we are against military dictatorship. So the West will not be left out. It is left over to them to know their political elite. Who do we support? Who do we work with? And where do we stay? And what is going to be our own take in the next 8 years? If this is what you are saying, good and fine, let me tell you, then the election is done. Concluded. That shows the next governor, you don't need to doubt it or argue about it, is coming within that central. That is Kogi Central. Usman Ahmed Ododo is the next governor. Because after 8 years, the power definitely is going to shift to where?
I like the way you seem so confident.
I'm talking about the calculation of what is on ground politically. Because if this political alignment goes on like this, Benue Kwara have done 19 years.
You could miscalculate you.
Yes, it's just a game of permutation and calculation, and look at it, if it's happening this way. If really that, look, the Okus agree, look, 8 years, either I also agree for another, we push it for another 8 years, or we should give it to East Benue State have done 19 years, and we don't know when it will come to our time. It's better we allow 8 years go, and we support them. Let it come to our side. And this is, we came to politically, we have political history from Kwara State.
Okay.
Yes, it is between Kwara and Benue. So I am telling you, that shows in the next 24 years, 22 years, 8 plus 16 will now give you 24 years. If this is what we are saying, then in the next 24 years, those from the political stakeholders from the East will have a new generation within their political cycle. And they will look at the instrument of power. What benefit have it given to those in Central and to those in the West? They have then to learn and sit tight that, look, the moment we get this power, we should know it's an instrument of development. It's an instrument of what? Of progress. It's an instrument of what? Political ideology. So we are not just going to look at, look, we need power, we need power. No, it is not an issue whereby you take power and share provision to who you like, your friend and associate and family members. No, what are you going to do with this political power?
Which brings me to my next question. What are your expectations? And when I mean expectations, I'm not talking about who you expect to win. I'm talking about the electioneering processes itself. If you look at the election, my expectation is that, look, everybody will be mindful of his step and word and his speeches. Okay. Because any speech that will bring about destruction, violence, no leader will be ready to be associated with it. That is number one. And I'm assuring you, looking at what we are passing through today as a state, by the time the APC guy get there, which is Usman Orodu, he need to sit tight and understand and look, it's not an easy catch for me. I have to live to the expectation of the people. First and foremost, the issue of salary you mentioned must be addressed. It is a serious issue. But don't you think it's an error? I mean, let's talk about party to party, and I'd like us to use this said administration as an example, because now it's moving from APC to APC, correct? Yeah. Let's just say if it happens. And now we've seen the former president Muhammadu Buhari move over. He handed over to an APC person, and now this present administration is currently blaming the past administration for the woes of Nigeria and saying, oh, we do not have so-so in our foreign reserve, oh, this has gotten this bad, oh, this has gotten this bad. Who are we to blame? Now, let's take it to Kogi State elections. Now, how do you expect someone that is close to the governor to say he wants to fix what his friend cannot fix? Look, it is all about leadership style. Let me tell you. So are you trying to say, if you're talking about leadership styles, I mean, even before this election, we asked the question and said, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had the answers, why didn't he support President Muhammadu Buhari during his tenure? So now, why didn't Ododo support Governor Yahya Bello during his own tenure to fix all of this? Very interesting question. Let me tell you, the moment you get to that state, you become the commander-in-chief and the chief security officer of the state. Look, it is all about individual leadership quality and what you believe in. Because let me tell you, if you look at theories of leadership, today, Tinubu is using transactional leadership theory to achieve transformational leadership theory. That is why today you see, even NLC up to today find it difficult to go to strike. He's what? He's negotiating with them. That's transaction theory. You transact with every group, individual, what they want. So if you understand now, so now he is using it to reform. I look, bought 35,000, as a measure to increase across the board for every worker. So let the state go back and do it. What we are saying here is that, look, I said is a leadership style or leadership system of how do you do leadership individually, or the philosophy of leadership or leadership trait, the way you look at it. If you look at it this way, of course, Yahya Bello as an individual and as a governor will not be the same thing when Usman Ododo is there. They must surely have their leadership differences, because their mental structure when it comes to reasoning as a governor will not be frequently 100% in terms of reasoning and in terms of what? Application of knowledge. No. Because in every standard, even if they are from the same senatorial district and from the same party, they see things from different perspectives. And let me tell you, those around the governor, the appointees, also have their own influence on the governor.
Surely, those appointees that are being surrounded by Yahya Bello will not be the same set of people when Usman Ododo came in. So definitely we are going to have a different mechanism when it comes to governance, when it comes to government and the instrument of government. So you are going to see issues being directed in different directions. So your priority, the priority for His Excellency Yahya Bello may not be the priority of Usman Ododo when he became the governor.
So the priority was not to pay salaries, and now
if the priority, let me tell you, fantastic, good question. Now Yahya Bello have discovered, look, we have spent too much more salary on what? On the civil. We have spent too much on salary. And now look at it. And with this, we have not moved the state from one step to the next level infrastructurally. So now, who do we need to bring to their knowledge and let do sacrifice? The sacrifice is not all just for the civil servant. Even the political appointees, they are crying that, look, that they are being paid some percentage of their salary. They say, look, this is a political appointment. If you are not comfortable, you resign. The government told them openly. Because we should have a sacrifice, we must do this sacrifice to uplift the standard work, the structure of the state.
Okay, given everything you've said now, don't you think the heart of the people would move towards another party? It might not be SD, it could be SDP, it could be PDP.
This is why I told you, they moved from PDP because they have been a salary-based party without looking into infrastructure. And look at today, go to Ilokoja and see, we are having the first flyover today in Ilokoja after how many years? I can see you smiling. This is the first time you are having a flyover in Kogi State. It is by this government. And where do you get the money to do it? The first time you are having a reference hospital in Kogi Central. It's the first time you are having a well-equipped modern hospital in Gerugu here after Abaji. It is today you are having all the palaces are being refurbished. And you see, they have carried everybody, even traditional rulers, the education, the health sector have been taking. They have felt the impact of democracy and new governance. This is what I'm telling you now. As I'm talking to you, I'm very sure, those from the eastern flank will now sit down and think twice and reason beyond the border of what? Just taking power. That whenever we have this power next in our hand, we should know this is what we are going to do. You must have your calculation, you must have your plans. If you're expecting anything, you must have how you want to spend this money. How you want to use this instrument of governance in the interest of what? Of the people, citizen. This is for development, for progress. So if this is the case, I am telling you, let them wait and see what will happen within the next 8 years, and let them see what the Okus will use this power as Yorubas. Let them see them also operating as governor within the state. And let's see this difference. We have seen from the east. We are now experiencing what is going on within the central. And let's see also, after 8 years, let's see what will happen when an Okuman becomes the governor. What will be the face of the state? It is then we have tested the 3 senatorial districts, and we now come to see that, look, is it that we are going to have democracy at work whereby we work based on what? On political ideology, leadership theories, we look at development theories, we look at from any part of this triangle, development theory, development assessment process, or we look at leadership development process, or we look at it from where? From just mere population or theory of leadership. So it depends. This is why I said, look, we have seen the eastern, we are now experiencing the central. Let's also wait. When the west have tasted power for under 16 years, when it comes to their turn, then we will now sit tight and look at it. All the political elite of the state will now have a take that, look, this should be our focus. This should be our vision. This should be our direction.
Okay, speaking of direction, this party has spent 8 years and now you're fighting for another 8 years, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now don't you think 8 years is actually enough to have achieved everything that, let's say, if you are actually a well-meaning Nigerian and if you actually really want to do all of these things, don't you even think 8 years is enough from that zone to actually achieve all of this? I'm not saying, oh, because one person spent 16 years.
You see, we are good. Let me be true Nigerian here. You know, Nigerians are good in answering question with question. If that's the case, why did PDP, after 16 years in power, still want to hold on to the power? Is 16 years not enough to them to have proven that, look, everybody should believe and key into our political ideology and leadership style and system? Why did APC came back to take the power from them? And then we are talking about another 8 years for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to make it 16 years. So you see, you must have a power, a stability. With the power, you must be stable and have a very effective time, good time for you to actualize yourself in terms of governance, in terms of development, in terms of leadership theory, and what? And how do you carry these people along to believe in you and what you want to achieve? If this is the case, we are not talking just about central. We are talking about political party, because the party itself have its own agenda across the state. PDP have their own political manifesto agenda as a party. So we look at it. What are these political values from APC for 16 years? What have been an achievement by governors from where? From the central. What have been their leadership style within these 16 years? Then the Okons will now sit down. If it is APC, good. APC, it is our turn. We will look at all these indices, political, administratively, in terms of governance and human development. From which angle do we come from? And how do we take it? And how do we marry the two together? From east and from the central, what is their strength? We have to look at the strength. What is the political strength of His Excellency Abdullahi Bello and the incoming one, Usman Ahmed Dodo, within the 16 years? What has been the political strength of Ibrahim Idris and Wada Idris and the late governor of Blessed Mori, Prince Abubakar Audu? We will look at it all together. Then you now take a branch out of it. How do you marshal out your what? Your governance, your leadership style. What should be your area of competence, strength, when it comes to what? Leadership qualities. And what are your administrative value, core values that you want to enshrine that the people will actually appreciate and it will live to the test of time? This is what we are saying. And with this outing, I'm assuring you that every political party, every stakeholder, the three senatorial districts have keyed in to listen to us, and they knew quite all right. They have no quite all right what we are talking about, and we are going to. And let me tell you, now, the Igalas, their problem today is not Yabelo, Adota-Bello, or APC. They will look back and say, if our past leaders have done this and that, we would have been saying this. You know what I'm saying now? So now, even the central, today, if you go to central, people still tell you, like, they are blaming Yabelo for one thing or the other. You understand now? But still yet, let's see the next 8 years. What will happen if Usman Odoro eventually emerge as the governor? And what will be the take of those from Kogi West? What is going to be their own take? And how will they react to governance when in the next 8 years and when it comes to their turn? This is what we are saying. This is the beauty about the democracy. And still yet, what the Eastern Senatorial District are doing is correct, because this is democracy. You have the right to come out.
Right to come out, yeah.
To come out and contest, and they are contesting good and fine. You understand now? Murtala Ajaka is doing his best as a party member of SDP, but he was formerly an APC member. You understand now? So you must test your might, your political strength within the state. You understand now? We said, look, if really you want a good share of if you come back from hunting and you really want a good share of the meat, you say, look, I want the whole leg. At the end, if you are giving a hand, you go home and celebrate it.
Now, I'd like you to talk about something that, of course, someone said. They said power is not given, it's taken. What's your opinion about that?
Yes, power is not given, it's taken. That is why today you see the central is holding onto the power that, look, we are not going to release it. Because in the history of the world, go and check. Power is not, you don't negotiate for power. You don't just go and take power. Nobody will just give power. It is either you take it by political ideology, by party structure, or you take it by revolution or by coup d'etat. This is how we take power. So now, this is why I told you, look, if you are talking about power, the moment you tested power, you will not like to leave it again. There is no to, even after 8 years. After 8 years, some segment of the central will tell you we still want to continue, but I'm assuring you, the political leader will say, no, we have taken enough of our time, and we have given the best of our own time. Let's allow others to go. Because this is democracy for you.
Okay.
So there is no crime in it. But I'm assuring you, by every calculation and the way it's going, I'm assuring you, I'm not a party member. But from my own observation, research, analysis, this power will be retained by APC in Kogi State.
All right,
because you don't toy with the instrument of power. Because if eventually, if by any calculation, any means, Yabelo lose this election, I told you, and he will never allow it to happen. History will never forgive him. And he know what it is.
What do you mean by you will never allow it to happen? It's the choice of the people to decide who they want to go.
It is the choice of the people, but he has to come out and tell the people his achievement within the last 8 years, so that he should be at home with his citizens.
Okay, all right. Then I'd like you to leave a note with our viewers at home, especially people from Kogi State that are watching. What is a note you leave with them? Of course, we've read lots about salaries and security and everything, but everybody needs something positive to keep it moving. I said, given that the election is even closer as we're thinking about it right now.
My best of advice is, look, let all of us be law and peace abiding citizens as far as Kogi State is concerned. And let's be mindful of our speeches, statement, that after election we will still remain Kogite. And historically, we are brothers. Politically, we are the same. And as far as Kogi will remain after 2000 and after 11th of 11, that is 11 November 2023, Kogi State will remain, and will remain brothers and sisters. So let us be conscious of our actions and statements. And finally, our political leaders, let them know we have come of age, that look, we are looking at development and progress they are making, not name today. That is it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Abdullahi. It's been an insightful analysis with you today on the program. We do hope we'll have you one more time before the program, before the election itself takes place, and then maybe we would have seen some either let's say changes then before then. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, our viewers at home, especially people from Kogi State, that was Dr. Abdullahi. Of course, you read what he said. He said, come when come sunshine, irrespective of your tribe, religion, or what party you support. Kogites should come together and, of course, do what we say. United we stand. You know the rest. All right, this is where we wrap it up for the polity for this week. And, of course, it's been an insightful and powerful one with you guys, of course, watching the program, and our producers, our backstage guys, the MCR guys, producers, prompters. Thank you so much for making this show a program, and of course, thank you to myself too. All right, this is where we draw the curtains for the polity for today, and this week I remain Messi Babajide. See you same time, same station next week. Bye.